Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Inside Track, where you get to hear the stories that create success. Today, we got the one, the only, Kris Clay. My man. Welcome to the show, brother. Welcome to the show. You know, we was trying to make this thing happen, and we finally made it happen, bro. And I'm glad we did, man.
Yes, sir.
So you coach, rapper. I mean, you got multi-talented, man.
Yeah,
Man.
I say maybe retired rapper, but
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But still, you got skills. I mean, at any time, you could pick the pen up and be lethal.
Yeah. I feel like I can do that.
You know what I mean?
I feel like I'm very capable of that. You know what I mean?
Truth.
Never know. You know what I mean? You've been trying to pull me back in that booth a couple times.
You know me,
I'm gonna
bro.
have to come in there.
Truth.
Come in there and do something. You know?
Truth. Definitely. So you coaching. You had a game tonight.
Yeah, summer league basketball.
Nice. How is that? How's that? How's that? The feeling. You know what I mean? Coaching and stuff. It's.
Oh man, that's probably my. I'd say that's my passion. You know what I mean? I love giving back as far as working with the younger generation, the kids. You know what I mean? So. I enjoy it, man.
Nice.
I enjoy it. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and it's you know what I mean. It feels good. It feels good to give back. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
And you go out there with those young guys. Just being around the younger generation kind of keeps you in that in that realm. Like what I mean. You kind of it keeps me in the. What do I want to say? I don't want to really keeps me in the mix with the younger generation. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
kind of got a little in tune with them. So
I definitely know what you mean. It keeps you almost keeps you updated.
Yes,
keeps you updated because the older you get, and then the things just come out rapidly.
Right.
And if we don't go seek it, we got to get the young ones to give us to it.
Absolutely, and
But that's definitely. So how long you been doing that? I mean, that's that for.
I've been coaching. I first started coaching. I started coaching football. I was in the Air Force still.
Oh.
When I first started coaching football, so that was late 90s.
Oh, okay.
Still going today, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Football, basketball, you know what I mean? It's cycle year round.
That's beautiful. So, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
That's beautiful.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to do golf coach.
Oh yeah.
But I fell short of the credentials. You know what I mean? Some of the credentials. I forget what it was though. But it's like fell short of credentials, and I'm pretty sure, it was something I couldn't get. That was a while ago.
Right.
Years ago. But and I thought about it. I was like, because it's a big dedication. You got to really.
It is.
And it's not something you could just say, oh, I'll do this.
It definitely is. That's why, what I mean? Like you said, we've been trying to sit down and do this for a minute, but what I mean? Like I said, my schedule with that, what I mean? It's like I'm always on the go with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Me, I'm always, doing a bunch of things myself.
You know what I mean? 1,000 hats, bro. You know what I mean? You got your hands in everything.
I try, you know what I mean? I just accumulate things, you know what I mean? Just accumulate things. And it's like, when they say things fall in your lap, and it's like you can, you pass it on or leave it alone or however that works, I tend to take interest in a lot of things that fall in my lap.
Jump right into it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I mean? So, look, rapper, man, you had a nice raps. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember the last joint you did, the therapy.
Yeah,
that joint's still going hard, bro.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that felt good. That felt refreshing because that was the first time that I stepped into the booth, and I mean it was years. So that felt good, man. That felt good.
Definitely.
When you get in the booth and you start doing that, that's a different feeling in itself. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, definitely. See, I know you can pick it up.
Oh yeah, I definitely. You know what I mean?
Definitely. skills. And then when you came on, I was like, yo, man, that joint. It's like if you don't listen, if I don't listen to it for a while, I go back and listen to it. You know, I mean, this was like it was just made.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not like I get the feeling like, oh, this was made a while ago, and you know, it was like, dang, just feeling this joint like it was just made. You know what I mean? That's and it really carries itself. You know what I mean? And you stepped out. You know, if you don't watch, it's like when you watch a movie and then you don't watch it for a while, and if it's a good movie, you watch it again, and it's like, oh, yeah, definitely.
I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like, hey. I give the credit to you because you was, you know what I mean, tugging on my coattail to come in and drop something, you know what I mean?
Bro, that made me feel
I came in with really, you know what I mean, I came in and sat in the studio with you back there in your studio, and, you know, you started playing beats and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just like, you know, got that feeling again, like, oh, okay.
That's all it
you
takes.
Know what I mean? Yeah, so, you know, that's one thing. Like I know if I go in there and sit in there with you for a minute, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna catch that feeling, you know what I mean? Catch that bug. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
And that was inspired too by my cousin Trail. Because he was on a little run, you know what I'm saying, where he was making some music, and you know, me and him used to make a lot of music together. So, you know, I when you were tugging on my coat to come in and do something, when I came in there and heard it, it was like, you know what I mean? Like he kind of inspired me too, because I was hearing what he was doing, and I'm like, I still got it. I still got it. You know what I mean? Let me see if I still got it, you know, and I popped in your studio, and you know, that was history. That was the end result.
Yeah, the rest is history. Yeah, we're gonna have a link to that song for y'all that haven't heard it. You know what I mean? We're gonna have a link in the description for that. It's that relaxed there. Oh man, wait, y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna love it. Y'all gonna love it.
You hyping me up right now.
Oh man, I'm just talking the history that we got.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely the history we got. We got history in other places like the golf. The golf. My man, we play golf. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Truth. It's like, yeah, definitely, man. So, bro, I feel, man, your season is going good, bro. Your season's going good, bro.
It is. It's early.
It is.
Early,
it
you know
is.
What I mean? But I'm happy where I'm at right now. You know what I mean? I'm still trying to be consistently. I'm trying to get into them 80s and be consistent down there. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm consistently in the 90s, but
you and I both, brother. And I both.
Well, but you're capable of coming out and shooting the high 70 though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you're locked in, you know what I mean. You swing that club. You know what I mean? So
I'm trying to get there this year. I'm trying to get there. You know, it's still early in the season, like you're saying. You know, it's still early, but you know, definitely, you know. The season's going good. You know what I'm saying? I definitely, you know, somebody's gonna major. Somebody's getting one.
It's coming up.
Yeah, we got 2 more events.
Yeah, somebody that go try to knock that boy Flem off.
You know right.
Go knock the boy Flem off. Which that's a tough task. That's a tough task in the golf world, in our golf world. Anyway,
right. Yeah, his major don't come up to the end of the year. So we still got time. We still got time, but it'll be there before you know it.
Yeah.
It'll be there before you know it. You know, it'll be there before you know, and it's like, oh man, I'm preparing for it, man. Everybody want that diamond.
Yeah.
Want that diamond.
That diamond. That was a nice one.
Yeah, true.
Nice that was a fun event too.
Yeah.
That was a good time. They're always a good time, but
Truth.
That was definitely a good time.
Yeah, we're gonna try to set up to have. The place didn't set up nicely for us to have food the way we wanted to, because we wanted to have food, and then they told us 2 different prices, and then you know it was just like, you know what, let's just have the event, no food. We'll try again next year. Yeah, you know what I mean.
We still went to the bar and ate a couple.
We did.
You know
yeah,
I mean?
true.
We still fellowship.
True.
It was a good time.
It was. It was definitely. It's always a good time. Always. You know what I mean? Definitely always a good time. You know. So, but I still gotta get my pitching wedge fixed. I didn't tell you about that, did I?
No.
Them grips you give me, I call myself being a do-it-myself guy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't have the stuff to put it on there. I have a clamp, da 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 da. So I pulled my old grip off. My 56, I figured it out. I was like, yeah, I got it on there. I was like, man, this is easy. This is easy. So I pull my pitching wedge off. I go on there, and it's not working. I read somewhere, I think it was E told me. He's like, oh, just put some air in there, and it'll do it.
Yeah, help it pop off.
Yeah, no, put it on.
Okay.
To put it on.
Yeah,
So I used, what was it, rubbing alcohol. Put some rubbing alcohol down, put it on the thingy. That's how I got my 56 on there. I was like, oh, it's easy. So I did my pitching wedge. I got it on there, start going. I'm pressing down. Next thing out, boom. I'm like, what the heck? Bro, I blew it up. I put too much air in the hole.
What?
Yeah.
Blew the metal?
No, I blew the grip
Oh,
up.
the grip.
Yeah, I blew the grip up. I was like, what the heck was that?
I got another grip for you.
And it was a whole side. Okay.
I got another grip for you.
Cool. Because I went and I took all the glue off of it, and I was like, let me try it again. I won't put too much air in it. So I did it again. I'm starting to get it on there. I'm like, yeah, it's working. All of a sudden, it's not going anywhere. Like, what the heck? Bro, it folded up underneath when it folded up under and it couldn't go back, and I couldn't get it off. Wow. So I had to cut it off.
Wow.
I was like, no, I just ruined 2 grips, bro. I'm like, I was like, I can't do it myself. I can't do it myself.
You didn't do any of them after that?
No.
It stopped on that?
So my pitching wedge don't have a grip on it.
Yeah.
So I have to go get it,
Yeah.
I have to go get it done. So, and I was like, well, I can maybe ask one of the guys that know how to do it, that successfully did it, or go and get it done.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I can't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can do a lot of other things, but I can't put no grips on, bro. I can't.
Yeah, I didn't even try. I had Wade put a couple on for me before,
Oh, okay.
and this last time I took it to Dick's.
Yeah.
Where Corey's dad works. So
Yeah. I got it.
done.
I can't do it. I'm not going. I'm like, man, I'm not going to just, just keep ruining it. I'm just thinking, it's like, man, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, did you YouTube it?
I did.
Oh, you did?
That's probably what the problem was. I had a couple different YouTubes, but the ones that I looked at, they had the clamp, they had the certain solvent stuff or whatever, the stuff
yeah.
you put on there, and then you put it on there, the glue, and then you put that on there, and they told you to shake it up inside the grip, and then pour it on the, all kind of stuff. And I did exactly the way it was supposed to go. It just didn't want to work. Didn't want to work. And then I was like, oh, he said put some air in there. So I put the little air joint on the compressor. That joint just put too much air in that joint. blew it up. It scared me, bro. I dropped the air thing, the club, and I'm looking around like, what is going on?
That's crazy.
Nah, because I blew that thing up. It's like, I can't do it. So the last couple rounds I've been playing, I haven't had a pitching wedge. I don't have a 7-iron. I don't have a pitching wedge now. My set came with a approach wedge. Lost that on the course a couple years back.
That's my baby.
Yeah. I got a 56, a 54, and a 60. Those are the ones I use. But certain clubs, your distance with them clubs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I tried to choke down on a 9 for the pitch. I don't have that in my bag. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't have that in my bag.
You don't have that in your bag. It just don't work out right.
It does not. And I can't hit the 56 doesn't go that far. I can't hit the 56 pitching wedge distance.
Right.
And it just doesn't work. I tried to hit the 54. It doesn't work. I gotta have my pitching wedge. You know what I mean? And it's like I don't have a 7-iron. And it's like, man, I'm really handicapped out here, bro.
Yeah, I had broke my approach wedge at one point and had to use my pitching wedge. I mean, I used my pitching wedge, but I probably shouldn't. But I use my approach wedge a lot of times when I probably shouldn't, like when I probably should use my pitch. You know what I mean? And I would just figure, okay, I'll come up a little short. But I'm more comfortable hitting this club. But it kind of forced me to start using my pitching wedge more. So that was kind of good. So
Yeah.
I can't swing the 9.
Really?
I can't swing the 9. I guess I got to do it more, but I can't really. Just good things don't happen for me when I swing it. You know what I mean? So I gotta stay away from it. But
So between like 100 and 130 yards in, what's your go-to club?
at 130,
Yeah, about 130, 100 yards in that
100,
range.
130, I'll go pitch and wedge.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
right.
if I get anywhere, let's say under 120, 115, I use my approach. Because I mean, on a good day, I hit my pitching wedge about consistently between 130 and 140.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Which
That's
I don't know.
that's where I'm at on mine. You know, but trying to do that with a 9-iron.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 130 yards in. That would be my, pitching wedge is my go-to.
Right.
It's definitely my go-to. And then like when I'm under a tree or something, my go-to club, depending on how low the branch is. If I got a little room, I'll take an 8-iron. If it's like, 150, and just put it back in my stance and try to keep it low. But if it's really low, I'll grab a 5-iron or a 4-iron.
Yeah, I usually go 5-iron. Try to get up. If I'm if I have to stay under, and basically punch out.
Right.
I usually go with my 5.
Yeah, that's what I do. I see some people using their driver,
Yeah.
the hybrid.
Yeah. I do have a hybrid that I will pull out sometimes to punch sometimes, but my main go-to to if I want to stay low and under the tree is going to be the 5. 'Cause I don't when I do hit my 5, even I like I said, I there's certain clubs that I just I really can't get the ball in the air with my 5, so
Yeah.
I use it to stay low and get out of a situation.
Yeah.
Which I find myself in a lot. So.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got good punching, good using it to punch out. So that's my punch club.
So what is a shot that if there's a setup and you see a shot and you're like, oh, this is my favorite type of shot. Do you have a favorite type shot? No. You don't have one?
I'll say I feel good when I can come up and I can use my approach wedge.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I'm most comfortable with that club.
So is that like in any condition, like any situation, like you can be like down or up?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I can get to a point where I can use that club, I feel good.
Nice.
I feel like okay. I'm not saying I'm going to hit it great every time, but
Right.
That's when I'm like, okay, I get to pull this club out. I feel good about it.
I like my thing is like 100 yards shot downhill. 100 yard shot downhill. I'll pull out a 56. I'll pull out a 56 and give it 75.
Yes.
And sometimes 100 because, my 56 only goes about 75, 80 yards. If I open it, a certain way. I got that thing pegged down a little bit pretty good.
Right.
That's my favorite shot. If I get a shot like that, and sometimes you got to be comfortable with, or you got to be careful because if you get your favorite shot, you're like, ooh,
Right.
you screw it up.
Yeah.
Screw it all the way up.
I had a 56. I gave it away.
For real? So you don't carry a 56? Wow. Wow.
No.
You're one of the only people I know that don't carry one. I mean that I know that don't carry one.
Nope. I got a sand wedge. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's like a hybrid sand wedge. And then approach. I use that joker to chip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, I use that joker probably too much.
You
know what I mean? Yeah. Like
with
I'm like I'll always when I golf with Flem, he's always saying, well, you gotta, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I go to what I'm most comfortable with.
That's definitely go to.
There's a lot of clubs where I just be like, I'm not even pulling that out the bag.
Right.
Especially like the thing is I don't I don't practice to play.
I got you.
You know what I mean? When I play, I'm playing.
just
You know what I
playing,
mean?
just
I'm trying to score and keep up with everybody else. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
I'm not trying nothing new. You know what I mean? I'm trying
Right.
to keep up. So I don't get out there and hit my clubs enough to where I can get comfortable with something else. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable with what I'm comfortable with, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Definitely gonna be a good season. No, I feel it. I mean,
yeah.
definitely having a good start. I mean, man, you close the other day, man.
Yeah.
You
You got me. You
oh
got me.
man,
You got me.
that
I had a
man,
couple of little bad holes on that back. I was playing well on that back
man,
nine. I had a
you
couple,
had, bro. I was like,
nah,
it's
you had a
over.
tough. But the thing is, you had a tough front. You know what I'm
I
saying?
did,
And then you
I
were on
did.
fire on the back. So
Yeah,
you know what I
true.
mean?
It evened out, and
Yeah.
snuck that one in there. But you man, you was,
I was there. I was
whoo,
right
you
there.
was on fire though, man. It was
right
like,
there.
oh man,
I was
keep
right there.
heck yeah, man. That was good. But it's gonna definitely be a good season. So I got a question for you. Did you see the game last night?
I did. Well, put it this way: I started watching the game. I watched the whole first half, most of the third quarter, and then I fell asleep. And then I woke up
Okay.
when it was going to overtime.
Oh,
So
man.
when I woke up, they were showing the replays of the shot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
That was
it
insane.
was.
What is going on here? Like, man.
It was a hell of a game, man. And it the Knicks, you know what I mean? Like I always say, like I always watching the NBA, I always like watching the NBA. It's always better when, like, say, the Knicks and teams like the Lakers are in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For some reason, those teams and the Celtics,
Mm-hmm.
those three teams, if they're in the mix, I feel like basketball is always a little funner to watch because when you're watching those games, you see all the people pop out.
Right.
You know what I mean?
True.
Everybody's coming out to watch it, and so yeah, the Knicks blew that one, man.
Oh,
They had a nice lead and just couldn't hang on in that. That boy Halliburton, he's been clutch, man. He's been clutch. And
Definitely, bro.
came up clutch last night.
That was nuts.
Came up clutch.
Man, I was just like, I was there pulling my hair out. Like, what is going on? That man, you thinking that they were gonna come back?
Yeah.
The last 40-something seconds? You think it's gonna be a comeback? They were down 12? I think it was.
I think they were down. I think they were down 17 with just like 3 minutes left.
Okay,
I think then it was 14 under 3 minutes, and then they were up, I think, 9 or something, something like that. With just under 2 minutes left, and Knicks couldn't hold on, man. Crazy.
That is, man. I ain't seen nothing like that, and
It's exciting though, man.
It is.
You like to see games like that. Man.
Those are the games that get you excited about the sport. You know what I mean? I mean, if you got those games that are just score, you know,
Or
back and
big
forth, score.
blowouts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that was a good game. That was a good game to watch. Like I said, I fell asleep for a little bit of it, but it was definitely
Golden State's last game wasn't.
no. They blew it. I mean, but Curry got hurt. So
Now
he missed some games, so that they weren't going to win without him. So
true. And to me, it seemed like when Curry was out, everybody looked to Draymond to be the leader. You know what I mean? It seemed like that to me. It was like let Draymond make the plays. You know what I mean? Let him set up. You know what I mean? And he's not the guy to go to for the setup. You know what I mean?
I think he does set them up a lot, but he sets it up a lot for Curry.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So whenever Curry isn't there, it just looks a lot different. He's you know what I mean? There's really no one for him to set it up for, and he's really not. He's not a scorer, so
True.
he can't turn that on and just carry the team by scoring. So
Right, but he did hold he held his own in the last few games.
yeah, he did.
He definitely held his own in the last few games. And I'm like, whoa. But yeah, he just couldn't. They just couldn't do it in that last game. You know what I mean? It was like, yep. And Curry says what they say. He said he was retiring, and some people are like, he's not retiring. I read it somewhere that said, yeah, he's retiring.
No, I didn't see that, but
Yeah,
he ain't retiring. He has too much good basketball left in him.
he does. He does. I mean, I can see if it was, he started slowing down, and it was just like, he's not hitting a certain average.
He's him and LeBron are define time right now. You know what I mean? Like they're still playing at a very high level.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I can't see him walking away right now. He's gonna play and try to give it another shot to get another championship.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
definitely.
It's just in his DNA. He wants, you know what I mean? You can see he wants it still.
Yeah.
So I couldn't see him retiring right now.
Yeah, I could see him retiring on a championship after a championship win.
Oh yeah, that's possible. That's possible.
I can see him doing that, but just retiring after getting so close, and yeah, I don't see that happening.
Especially him getting hurt and having to go out that way. He doesn't want to go out on those terms.
Yeah, he's not just going to walk away. No, that's not good for his. I don't think it's good for basketball. I don't think it's good for his legacy. And he's just not going to do it.
No.
And it's like, yeah, that's like an actor that just had a great role and then, had a crappy role and then just walked away. And it's like, I don't see that happening. Yeah. Definitely not. But, it's definitely going to be interesting next year. When they mix things up, I mean, they're done for the year. So next year, they can get another chance,
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, he's definitely gonna come back and try to take another run at it.
Yeah.
Like I said, him and guys like him and LeBron, they're just playing really well right now at their age. I just can't see them walking away without trying to win another one.
Right.
Right.
I honestly think whenever the Olympics was on, the U.S. Oh my God, man, dude,
yeah, that was a good. Those were good games.
Oh,
that was fun to watch.
That was very fun to watch, man. It was like I was like, I'm not missing this. I'm not missing this. I watched every game. You know what I mean? I didn't watch every game. Okay, I lied. I almost watched every game. Right. I almost watched every game.
He was in tune.
Yeah, right. True. And that was just like, whoa.
Yeah, it was exciting. It definitely was.
I mean, I don't really have a team per se. You know what I mean? I mean, of course, I would say Golden State, you know what I mean? But I don't have like a team where it's like I go all in on that team. Like if I was betting or anything, I would go to that team. I don't really have.
Yeah, everybody. I think everybody knows me. I'm a LeBron fan.
Got you.
I cheer for whatever team he's on.
I got you.
And like I said, I like to see those legacy teams like the Lakers, Knicks, Celtics. I like to see when they're good, and I like Curry a lot. So, you know what I mean. I like when those guys are doing well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So.
Yeah,
I'm more of a player fan when it comes to the NBA.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah,
especially being from Pittsburgh, we don't have a basketball team. I know. So it's,
that's. I mean, not every state has a team, but I don't think I mean, regardless,
right.
Still, you go find a team. It could, everybody don't vote for the Steelers. Everybody's like, But me personally, I don't really get into a lot of football. I can't do it. I'll do basketball.
I'm a Steeler fan, so I'm heavy on the Steelers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I got something for you. Now that I think about it, yeah, definitely. But man, I'm glad we got a chance to.
Yeah, but I want to ask you some things. Man.
Okay.
You're on a run right now. You know what I mean, with the music.
Oh yes.
You've been busy and active, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you're pushing it out, pushing track like it seems like every day you're putting, you know what I mean?
Truth.
Sending out a new track to the group, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Let everybody hear what you're doing. And so what's got you so inspired right now that you're
I'm on a mission to release 5 albums this year. I'm working on number 4 right now. It's called Active Duty, which is pretty much, I would say, my more of aggressive type competitive, raps. Because, usually I'm storytelling and, wisdom, stuff like that. But this is more of competitive type frontline, not the guy in the back pushing the buttons, but hey, almost like if you did it like in the Army term, it would be like I was a med tech, but now I'm on the front line. You know what I mean? I'm up there with the soldiers I'm shooting with the best of them. You know what I mean? So that's the way I see
It's funny
it.
you say that because when I was in the Air Force, that's what I was. I was a med tech.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I stayed away from that front line. You know what I mean? Bring the injured to me. You know what I mean? I'll do mine from back there. But
Yeah, that's
yeah, man, you're on a little bit of a run right now. You said 5 and you're already on 4?
yeah. Yep.
Wow, we're not even into the summer yet, man.
I know. I just the last album was the Augmented Reality. I only released that. Oh, I, one second. This is the.
Okay.
That's the last one. That's the sealed one because I'm gonna do a live and give it away for free. Give it away, and that's the last. It's only on disc. It's not anywhere online. I have one song online. It's Han Solo. So I dropped that album, and then
You sent that. I heard that.
yeah. So that was my more, that was pretty much prepping for the.
So what are you doing? Is it straight hip hop rhymes?
Yep.
No R&B this time around.
No.
So this whole year it's gonna be all hip hop.
Well, the first 2 albums were R&B. Well, the first album was R&B. The second album was a little mix, and the third one was straight hip hop, and the fourth one straight hip hop.
I remember you dropping the R&B album, but I didn't know that was this year. I thought that was in the winter.
I did one last year, which is pretty much the one I did this year was pretty much the second version.
Oh, okay.
So it was a whole new, some remixes, new songs, and stuff like that. The Factor album vinyl, and then I had the Factory remix was completely different.
Oh, okay.
Then I had the Augmented Reality, and now I'm doing Active Duty. So that's my more.
Yeah, them joints been hot. Man.
Yeah,
I think you sent out past couple of days. Those was hot.
Yeah, I'm like I gotta get in there with,
hot,
and everybody's like, oh well, the industry cats are this and they have this and that and blah blah blah. Man, it's just however your skills are and how much you're involved into it. It's like people that play golf and they're like, oh, the PGA people have this and this and that, and like you can never play at that standard. That's crap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You put the work in, you can play even better. You just because you're on that level doesn't, your PGA doesn't mean you can't play at that level. You know what I mean? There's some great basketball players that never played in the NBA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And also with the music, you know what I'm saying? In this day and time, you can kind of create your own lane. You know what I mean? Because there's so many different ways to put yourself out there and introduce your music to people. And with music, you know what I'm saying, if it's really from the heart, you're doing it more for even self.
True.
Than oh, this is what mainstream's doing. Like, you're not necessarily trying to fit into that into that bubble.
Right.
Like it used to be, that was what everybody was shooting for, was to be mainstream. But it's become so what do I want to say? Like I said, like you can create your own lane So it's became so much more of like you doing yourself and creating your own following. Like, for instance, like there's so many different, like if you was to go to any random city, let's say Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying,
Right.
putting that as an example. You can go to Baltimore, Maryland, and there are some, like, a core of local artists that they are familiar with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, before, not to say that it wasn't that way before, like, say, Pittsburgh. Like, Pittsburgh has always had their own rap scene, but the way you can put your music out through streams and everything now, you can hit a whole market in your hometown. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
In your area. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like I said, you're not necessarily making music to be mainstream.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like I said, like it used to be that was everybody's goal was to be
Truth.
Yeah, you know,
Truth.
you want to get on because nobody's selling 1 million hard copies anymore.
Yeah. You're not getting those numbers.
You know what I mean? It used to be like you would, you know, back in the day whenever it was I forget what it was. It was either a Tuesday, Friday, whatever day it was when all the new music dropped.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you would see it would be like, 50 Cent sold $500,000 in his first week.
Right.
That's not happening no more. You know what I mean? Now it's like, oh yeah, he had, you know what I mean, 30,000 units streamed in his first week, and that's big, you know, nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot different. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, definitely.
Mad respect on how, you know what I mean, what you're doing. Like I said, it's
Thanks, bro.
You know what I mean?
Thanks.
You're in your own lane. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it's your goal to put out 5 albums
Yeah.
in a year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't too many people doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially like mainstream, there ain't nobody doing that.
True.
You know what I mean? So
True.
You carving your own lane, and it's coming. You know, it's coming from the heart.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely trying to just, you know, coming in with different angles, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I haven't really done like, you know, like a competitive side, like battle type, you know what I mean? Hard, straight bars, you know what I mean? Because I'm always, you know, trying to give some drop gems, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So I don't really, I mean, I do come across like that, but now it's like the competitive, like, yeah, let's do it. Let's run it. Let's, you know, let's spar, da-da-da-da-da.
That's what you're feeling right now.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So that's why I call it active duty. You know what I mean?
I like it.
So it's like, yeah, let's do that. You know what I mean? Let's run that. And you know what's funny about last night? Because I wrote that song yesterday, and then I dropped it 12 o'clock last night. But while I was writing it, and I was trying to think of, like, okay, I have to start this thing out. I want to come in fierce. I want to come in like, yeah, because this is fully loaded, you know what I mean? And so, and I was thinking like, yeah, what am I going to do? And then when I come up with the first part, I was like, yeah, we'll do that a cappella. And then I was going to do half the thing a cappella and then drop, you know, in with the beat. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, man, that ain't going to work. So, I mean, it just came out the way that it came out. You know what I mean? And I was like, dang, what's going on? Goes right, da-da-da, crashing bars. I was like, dang, crashing bars. Goes right. And I was like, oh, I'm the type that goes right. And, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah. And then it just went from there. You know what I mean? It definitely went from there. It definitely did, you know. And, you know, I'm on that thing. And I'm trying to I would like to, you know, get you on this project. You know what I mean? Definitely, because I want to get a lot of people on this project.
Some features.
Yes, some features. You know what I mean? It's definitely get some features on this project, because I haven't really had too many features on the last couple albums I dropped.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna have a lot of people on this one. Try to anyway.
Right.
You know, but I'm gonna
That's what's up, man. Like,
definitely keep it moving.
Like I said, you're in a zone right now.
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
I could honestly say there was at one point when I was making music that I was like completely in a zone. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like it was every day. Like I was, you know what I mean, my creative mindset was going. Like I was every day, you know what I mean, coming up with a song or something, you know what I mean? And I feel like you might be on that run you're on that run right now.
Right.
But
Right.
you've been active in this shit for a long time, bro.
True.
For a long time. And I sometimes I don't even think people realize a lot of the stuff that you've been behind.
Right. True.
You know what I mean? Some of the stuff that you've helped other artists in this area, you know what I mean, push out or put out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
you mess around and be like, oh man, like, you know, I remember a couple years back, it was probably, I'd say 2020-ish, something like that, and I heard that Famous Koch album.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this shit's right. You know what I mean? I thought he put out a good project right there. He really did. And then come to find out, you know what I mean, you was behind a lot of that, man.
Right,
I was like, oh shit, okay.
The whole union.
Yeah, I was like, dang, okay.
Yeah, definitely. Because I live right next to bro, and man, I was seeing people all day. I was in the studio over there, and it was like if people wasn't active, you know, we was doing something else. You know what I'm saying? And I bought the camera. We was getting film. I got a lot of footage. You know what I mean? And it was fun. I'm always trying to keep my hand in the music scene. You know what I mean? The entertainment scene and all that.
And you are. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm giving you your flowers because
appreciate it.
Like I said, you've been behind a lot of stuff. Like, you know, like you've worked with a lot.
Yeah, I have
a lot of our local artists that we know of. That,
right.
You know what I mean? That were coming up, making music and putting out projects and. You know what I'm saying? When you do your homework into a lot of that, you was behind it. You know
yeah,
I mean?
true.
You was behind the scenes some way, somehow.
True.
Either they came to your studio and dropped, or you did a beat on there, or you know what I mean? You mixed it down, something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, doing covers, videos, all that stuff. But you know, you're right. I have been, you know, in a lot of different things. You know, I mean, I just do it and move on. You know what I mean? And it's like, and if you do your research, but that's why I feel a lot, you know, I feel proud of the Active Duty album because I really didn't, you know, I put a lot of more time in stand behind the scenes, you know, and I didn't really push my own. It was like, drop the song here, drop the album there, da-da-da-da-da, and I would get my, you know, my sales and all that stuff, but I would really just be a lot behind the scenes, you know what I mean, pushing a lot of other people and doing that thing, and that's where I was like, you know, I was always a part of different things. And now with this Active Duty album, I'm like,
the focus is on you.
Exactly.
Right? It's your projects. You know what I'm saying? You're picking who you want to work with.
And on it, I talk about a lot of things that I've done. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's like I helped people out and worked with a lot of people, and you know now it's like I'm on the front line. You know, putting myself on the front line. And coming up
the foxhole.
Right. Exactly.
Coming out the foxhole, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know what I'm
I was in the foxhole.
You know what I mean?
Fully loaded now, you know. And but it's going to be definitely good year all around. You know what I mean? May your team do good. You know what I mean? This year. And that's another thing I want to ask you. Do you do you have the same age kids each year? You're like in the same, or you do?
Right now, as far as football, I've been with the same age for the past 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
That might change this year. Not sure yet. But with the basketball, I've been with the high school guys for probably been doing high school basketball with Corey and my cousin Greg for probably coming up on 10 years with the high school. And then when he was doing the AAU, I had junior high up to high school age. And yeah, I've done all ages, man. Like I've done the little kids, you know what I mean? I started coaching basketball when my daughter started playing. So I've been working with a lot of, I've been blessed to be able to coach all ages, football and basketball.
Nice.
So,
nice.
And now with the basketball, it's been high school for the past 10 years. And then with the football, I've stayed in the youth age. You know what I mean? And I like it there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yes. Do you have an age group you think is easier to work with?
I would say my favorite age group to work with, and I'll say that's putting it more on the football side, is I'd say between 7 and 10-year-olds.
Okay.
And that's because I feel like that's the age where they really buy in. Like they really, like, you know what I'm saying, when you're talking, they're like this.
Yeah.
Eyes on you, glued, you know what I mean? Like I said,
Yeah.
the past 5 years I've been dealing with 11, 12, and 13-year-olds in the football age, and they just, you know, that age, you know what I mean, especially with boys, you know, they're starting to feel themselves a little bit, you know what I mean? They're starting to get into girls, and, you know, they got stuff going on more outside of their sports that they're playing. So, you know, it's a little different with them, with their attention.
I see. Yeah.
And the attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, when you got, you know, these 7 to 10-year-olds and you're talking, they're locked in.
Yeah. They're hungry for that information.
You know what I mean? And you can get them to really buy into what you're saying. Like
nice.
You get to, you know, like, especially like I said, at a junior high age, those kids, you know what I mean, they have so much other stuff going on. You know what I mean? That's whenever, you know, their social life is really starting to kick in. You know what I mean? That's when they're starting to form cliques. You know what I mean? So like I said, like you would deal, like, for example, whenever you're like at that age, you know, you come to practice and they're coming to practice with baggage of what was happening in school, what was happening before practice, you know what I mean, fighting over girls, you know what I mean? So it's just a whole different thing. And then and then with the high schoolers, like coaching basketball with the high school kids, it's a little different. You are dealing with the attitudes, and you have a lot of outside stuff going on, but also they're kind of more locked in too, because they kind of understand, you know, now they understand, like, okay, if I'm doing this and that, I'm going to be successful. So they want to succeed more, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they start to take the coaching and they, you know what I mean, absorb it more in a way that, because a lot of them have aspiration, or, you know what I mean, to take it beyond high school. They're looking to get into college. They want to play that sport in college, you know what I'm saying? So they're starting to get a little more serious about it. Or, you know what I mean, even if they're not looking to play in college, you know what I'm saying, they're looking to go to college. And you know, when sports are kind of in line with life.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're setting goals.
Right.
You know, you have to work towards these goals. So, you know what I mean, at that high school age, you're kind of grooming young men into men, you know what I mean?
Right.
So you're trying to make a difference and have them see beyond just basketball, beyond just sport.
Right.
So they're starting to learn the importance of stuff. So they kind of take things a little more serious.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially when you have good coaches, and I've been blessed to be around good coaches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To coach under good coaches, like, you know, I coach under Corey for basketball. I coach under my cousin Greg. Even though those guys are younger than me, they've taught me so much as far as coaching. And, you know what I mean, I tell anyone to this day, like, Corey is, you know what I mean, he's probably he's the best coach I've been around.
Nice.
As far as, you know, he really, really gets the learning part of coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And he's really, really, really good at that. Really good at the X's and O's. Really good at putting a game plan together. And so I've been blessed to be, you know, coaching under him, and, you know, before that, coaching under my cousin Greg with the basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's been like I said, man. It's something that I love to do. So
I definitely.
when you that makes a difference. You know what I mean?
It does.
When you love to do something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all worth it.
It is.
Everything, you know what I mean? And when you see kids become successful at it, or reach a goal, or you know what I mean, it's rewarding.
Definitely is. So, definitely is. Yeah. Definitely is. Man. So, wow. That's definitely, you know, some people have it and some people do. I couldn't, you know, even though, like I said, I had that opportunity to golf thing, and I think about it, I can't do it. I couldn't do it. It's not in me. You know what I mean? It's not in me. So that's definitely a blessing to be able to do that. You know what I mean? To be able to do that. I mean, to be able to do anything in life, you know, God gives you the capability to do things is a blessing, you know?
Yeah.
How you do that, how you take it. Some people squander away their opportunities and stuff, but, you know, just to be able to have the blessing to do things like that. And, man.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, you know, I mean, congratulations on, you know, the game today, you know. Good season in the golf, you know what I mean? It's all gonna come together. So, you know, good year. We ain't even at the halfway point yet.
No, we're not.
We're not even at the halfway point yet.
We're getting to the halfway.
We are getting there. Yeah,
we're getting to the halfway point of the year, but
yeah,
it's still early.
It is. Like I used to say, we're not even at the 6 yet.
Yeah,
we're not even at the 6 yet.
We're not.
You know. So, is there any shout outs you want to give?
Shout out to, you know, all my peoples, all your followers. Shout out to my slide through crew. You know what I mean? My man Smoke and my man Paco. You know what I'm saying? We've been doing our little thing with the podcast.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Especially, I definitely give a big shout out to Smoke because he keeps that going.
He does.
Slide through page on Facebook and YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he like I said, he keeps that going, man. Like life things happen. Like I get into season football and basketball, and I have to kind of fall back from that type of stuff.
Right,
and,
right.
I really enjoy doing it with those guys. You know what I mean? We have a good time. So when every time we get together and we do it, it's, you know what I mean, it feels good, and it's a good time. So definitely a shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely. I tune in.
Good,
oh yeah, I definitely tune in.
Good. We have fun on there, man. So you know, shout out to all my peoples, man. You know what I mean? All my peoples, all my peoples in the Griff. You know what I mean? I'm a Griff City boy.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? Mad love to the Griff. Just, you know, shout out to all my people, man.
Shout out to everybody watching this.
Everybody.
Make sure
everybody, you know what I mean, to support my man Bruce. Definitely a shout out to y'all.
Yes, sir. I mean? Yes, sir.
Like I said, this is a man of 1,000 hats.
I got one hat with 1,000 pins on it.
You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Always support this man. You know what I mean?
Definitely,
support
man.
him and the things that he does, because, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, he's everywhere with it.
True.
You know what I mean? So,
True.
I mean, if you need some advice in any of this type of business whether it's music, you know, the streaming and just how to get yourself out there. That's your man.
Sir. Yes, sir.
That's the man to talk to, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely got to do this again sometime, brother. It was definitely good having you on here.
I definitely got to come when I have some time and step in that booth.
Yes, sir.
You,
oh, that's definitely
you know what I mean?
that's definitely a must.
Just
That's
talking
definitely
now,
a must.
you kind of get my juices going.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to just slide you some beats.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's what you do that. Do that.
I'm gonna have to slide you some. I'm gonna disguise. Like,
Slide
check
some
this out.
beats, you know what I mean? Or some,
I wrote something too.
you know, or say, you know, because we, you know, people watching don't know, you know what I'm saying? I literally live 20 steps up the alley from
You
this
step
guy.
out the door and look right at
yeah,
your
you know what I mean?
house.
So, you know what I mean? I'm seeing him pull in and out every day.
It's
You
true.
know what I mean? He sees me doing the same thing. So,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know, if you got something going on, just
Yes, sir.
hit me up.
Definitely.
Step down here and listen to this.
Yeah.
You know, pull me in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Definitely. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The story. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you stay tuned. Check out the slide through.
Check out the slide.
We're gonna put a link in the description to the group on the slide through. Y'all seen the episode of Smoke on here. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. Some good content on the slide through. Make sure you also check out the Relax Therapy. That's gonna be in there too. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking us out. Until next time, peace.
Grab the wheel, swerve in a better direction. My man lost his son, now he's swimming in depression. R.I.P. RWG, but my